The email came in at 6:17 a.m., right as the coffee maker did its last angry gurgle. Mandatory meeting. Monday, 9 a.m., HR and compliance. I stood in my kitchen in my work pants, badge still clipped to my belt, and stared at the subject line like it was a bad joke with my mortgage attached. I wasn't panicking, which scared me more than panic would have. I felt the same flat nothing I felt most mornings, like my life was a clean countertop with no crumbs left on it. When I reached into my back pocket for my phone, my fingers hit paper, a thin time card printout, folded into quarters, soft at the edges from being handled too much. My son, Eli, padded in with his hair sticking up and his hoodie half zipped. He leaned his forehead against the cabinet and yawned like the world was heavy and he was still deciding if it was worth carrying. My wife, Jenna, moved around him without touching him, setting his lunch on the island, checking her calendar on her phone, doing the quiet choreography we were good at. I wanted to say something like, "I got called into HR," or "I feel like I'm disappearing inside a life I built on purpose." Instead, I swallowed coffee that tasted faintly burnt and watched the fluorescent light above the sink buzz like a trapped insect. At the warehouse, the air smelled like cardboard and diesel, and the forklifts beeped in that constant toothache way. My badge clip had a strip of old sticker residue on it that kept peeling and sticking, peeling and sticking. At the turnstile, the scanner hesitated, and the security guy gave me a look like he was trying to decide if I was a problem or just an inconvenience. My supervisor's door was closed, and my phone kept vibrating with calendar reminders I didn't remember setting. Monday, 9 a.m. HR and compliance. I told myself it was a random audit, a numbers thing, an innocent thing, and my chest stayed calm like it didn't believe me. When I finally got my timekeeping app to load, a line of punch records stared back at me, and one of them showed my badge in the shipping cage at 2:13 p.m. on the day I swore I never went near it. I couldn't stop seeing the 2:13 punch, and I couldn't stop hearing the words Monday 9 a.m. in my head. By noon, it felt less like a meeting and more like a countdown. I tried to solve it the way I solved everything, quietly, alone, like a guy tightening bolts no one noticed until something stopped rattling. I ducked into the maintenance office and logged into the camera system. The shipping cage cameras should have shown the door, the hallway, the keypad. The screen loaded, then gave me a cheerful message about retention policies. 48 hours. Everything older than that was overwritten unless someone tagged it. The day of the 2:13 punch was months ago. I sat there with my hand on the mouse and felt my pulse in my fingertips, steady and useless. My supervisor finally called me in around 3. He didn't look angry, that was worse. He looked tired, like I'd become another task on a list he didn't have time for. He slid a sheet of paper across the desk and told me I was on paid administrative leave effective immediately. Turn in my laptop by 5 o'clock. No site access, no contacting coworkers about the matter. He said it like he was reading weather. On the drive home, rain started and the wipers squeaked on the third pass, like a shoe on a gym floor. I pulled over in a grocery store lot and opened the glove box because my hands needed something to do. A stack of old receipts, a flashlight with tape around the barrel, and that same time card printout, another one, folded and refolded until the creases went white. The ink was smudged in one corner, where coffee had bled into it at some point, like evidence had been baptized. At 4:41 p.m., my phone buzzed with a new email from compliance. Do not alter or destroy any records. Return all company property today. Failure to comply may result in termination and further action. By Friday evening, I was officially on leave, locked out, and pretending it was a paperwork mistake. I walked into the building anyway, because Monday 9 a.m. was coming, whether I hid or not. The lobby felt too clean for a place that moved 50,000 boxes a day. I carried my laptop in both hands like it could explode. My cuffs were still damp, because I'd spilled coffee on myself that morning, and the fabric had dried stiff, leaving a dark tide mark. The receptionist pointed me toward a small conference room with a frosted glass wall. Inside, a woman in a navy blazer sat with a legal pad, and a man in a gray sweater had a folder open in front of him. The woman stood first, polite like a flight attendant. I'm Mara from HR. The man didn't stand. He just watched me set the laptop down. "I'm Ken with compliance." My mouth was dry in a way water wouldn't fix. I sat, and my badge clip, with its annoying sticker residue, caught on the chair arm and peeled with a soft ripping sound. "This meeting on Monday is formal," Mara said. "It's an interview with counsel present," Ken said. I nodded like that meant anything to me besides trouble. "We need to talk about an incident from May 18th, Mara said. My brain tried to flip through a mental calendar, found nothing, and landed back on 2/13 like it was a nail. "I don't know what you mean," I said. Ken slid a single sheet toward me, a time card printout. Same layout as the one in my glove box, same folded creases. "Do you recognize this?" he asked. I didn't touch it. The coffee stain in the corner looked like a bruise. "I've never seen that," I said. Mara's pen tapped once, gentle, like a warning. "It was printed from your login," she said. Ken turned the folder so I could see the top page, an incident report with a barcode and a timestamp. "This report was edited after submission," he said. My damp cuff brushed the edge of the paper when I shifted, and the ink near the timestamp smeared a little, like the universe was making a joke. "I didn't edit anything," I said. Mara leaned forward just enough to close the distance. "Your badge punched into the shipping cage at 2:13 p.m. that day," she said. Ken didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "And your supervisor's credential was used to change the report at 2:31, he said. My stomach tightened, not with fear, with recognition. Like a song I'd heard 1,000 times finally played the right note. "I was covering a shift," I said. Mara held my eyes. "A temporary worker was injured," she said. Ken's finger tapped the place on the report where the injury field was marked no. "He filed a claim this week," Ken said. The room went quiet except for the building's HVAC pushing air through vents. In that quiet, my emptiness suddenly had edges. "It was minor," I said, and even as it came out, I hated how small it sounded. Mara sat back, her expression still polite, but colder now. "Monday at 9 a.m., we will ask you under oath-equivalent conditions to explain your involvement," she said. Ken closed the folder like the conversation was over, and the weight was now mine to carry. "Do not contact anyone from the May 18th shift," he said. I left with my hands shaking just enough that the lobby felt like it tilted. In my truck, I sat with the engine off and listened to the rain tick against the windshield. The time card printout from their folder kept flashing in my mind, and I couldn't remember if I'd ever actually thrown mine away or if I'd kept it because part of me wanted to get caught. When I opened my backpack at home, a staple copy of the May 18th incident report slid out onto my kitchen counter, and in the smeared corner, my initials were still visible. The report with my initials sat in my kitchen like a live thing, and I couldn't pretend this was a random audit anymore. Monday 9 a.m. stopped being a meeting and turned into a door I had to walk through. Saturday morning, Jenna found the administrative leave letter because I had shoved it under a stack of mail like that, counted as hiding it. She didn't yell, she just stared at the paper, then at me, like she was trying to match me to the version of me she'd been married to. I started explaining in the same practical tone I used when the water heater needed replacing, words like compliance and timekeeping and claim. Her face stayed still. Eli was in the living room, building something with plastic bricks, making the soft clicking sounds kids make when they're trying to be in control of a world that listens. The sight of his small hands made my chest hurt in a clean, sharp way. I went into the garage and stood over my workbench, where a ratchet I'd meant to fix kept sticking on the reverse switch. I forced it back and forth until my thumb ached, like pain could grind out confusion. The time card printout lay on the bench, the coffee stain darker under the fluorescent strip light. I tried rubbing at it with a shop towel, like I could erase the day by erasing the mark. The paper fuzzed and nothing changed. That afternoon, I drove across town to a rundown duplex I remembered from the temp agency pickup route. The guy's name was Luis. I'd watched him work hard with no complaints, watched him try to fit into a place that didn't want him. His car wasn't there, and the neighbor on the stoop gave me a look that said I was too late for whatever I came for. In the driveway, my phone buzzed with an automated reminder. Interview. Monday 9 a.m., conference room B. Sunday night, after everyone went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open to a blank email. The house was quiet except for the refrigerator, cycling on and off. I wrote the truth in plain sentences, not pretty, not heroic. I attached a photo of the time card printout and the report with my initials. My finger hovered over send until my hand stopped trembling, and then I clicked. By the time I hit send, there was no version of Monday 9 a.m. where I walked in clean. I had finally chosen a shape for my life, even if it was the ugliest one. At 7:06 a.m. Monday, I stood in the same spot by the sink with the same mug, and the same fluorescent hum filled the kitchen. Eli came in half asleep, rubbed his eyes, and leaned into my hip the way he used to when he was little. His warmth was simple and heavy. Jenna didn't speak. She moved around me like I was a piece of furniture she'd decided not to replace yet. I checked the clock twice, 7:19, 7:20. Every minute was its own small shove toward 9 o'clock. The truth I'd emailed wasn't just about a punch record. On May 18th, Luis got clipped by a forklift when a driver cut a corner too fast. Luis went down hard, hit the concrete, and when he sat up, his wrist bent wrong. He kept saying he was fine because temps always said they were fine. The driver was one of our guys, the kind of guy management liked, the kind of guy who had a kid in the same baseball league as my supervisor. I called it in on the radio, then I walked Luis into the maintenance office and gave him ice from the break room freezer. He asked me if he should go to urgent care. He was holding his arm like it didn't belong to him. I looked at the wall calendar and saw my own life on it. Mortgage payment, Eli's school fundraiser, the new roof estimate, Jenna's reminder about the dentist bill. I told myself I was being practical. I told myself I'd take care of him. I told him if he reported it as an incident, they'd cut his hours and he'd get labeled a problem. I said it like I was helping him. When the supervisor asked for the report, I filled it out and checked no for injury because he hadn't gone to the doctor yet. That part was a lie with a loophole, the kind of lie a responsible man tells himself is not really a lie. Later, when Luis texted me a photo of his wrist in a splint, I didn't forward it. I didn't call anyone. I took my supervisor's badge off the hook in the office and used it to adjust the timestamp on the report, so it looked like it had been filed earlier, cleaner, before the camera angle caught the wrong thing. I printed my time card that day and folded it into my pocket because I could feel the story getting slippery, and I wanted something solid in my hand. Luis didn't get workers' comp. He missed shifts. The temp agency stopped calling him. The driver kept his job. I kept mine. I paid the roof guy. I bought Eli a new glove. Jenna and I went to dinner and talked about paint colors like we were safe. And every morning after that, I stood at my sink with coffee and felt nothing because part of me knew I'd traded something real for something stable. At 8:32, I drove to the warehouse with my hands tight on the wheel, and the wipers squeaked on the third pass like they always did. In the parking lot, Eli's small voice showed up in my head from a night months ago when I came home late and he'd waited up on the couch with a blanket. "Are you mad at yourself, Dad?" At 8:58, I walked into conference room B, sat down, and let them read what I'd already sent. The meeting lasted longer than an hour and shorter than a lifetime. When it was over, I wasn't escorted out in cuffs or anything dramatic. They took my badge. They told me my employment was terminated pending investigation, and that I might be contacted by their attorneys, and that I should not return to the site. I nodded, calm, like I was watching someone else lose his life. At 10:41, I drove back home, and in my kitchen I poured coffee I didn't want, set the mug by the sink, and unfolded the stained time card printout until the creases flattened under my thumb.